Hi, hi. Thank you so much for joining my another LinkedIn Live. It's our day 9. Now, what are we going to go on and talk it out today? Thank you so much for joining myself, Sufi. I have been a founder of Pandas Academy. I have built a product called Mentoring, which I'm going to go on and talk about it. Now, what are we going to go on and talk about it today? So, if you are failing in your interviews, if you're failing to go on and achieve your desired outcomes, you have been getting a lot of ATS good scores, but still your resume is not going to go on and helping you to land your first analytics or AI interviews. I think this place is for you. Myself, Sufi, I have around 5,000 plus mentoring sessions with multiple platforms. I have catered around 3,000 learners. And now I have built a product called Mentoring, which will help a lot of learners to be job ready. What does that mean? Understand that you have a good ATS score. Try to understand that you have a very good projects on your resume. You have all the particular certificates and you have all the courses around, but still you're not getting interview calls, but still you are failing to go on and apply for your first data analytics, machine learning, or even generative AI interviews. Why does that happening? That is the common problem I do see when I go on a mentoring sessions with my learners. I see that mentoring fails in three different stages. I see that resumes not get shortlisted, and the individuals who going to go on and get started with their analytics journey and AI journey fails at three stages. Your resumes goes to three different stages before you get a call from hiring manager or from HR. First, ATS filtering. We will talk about it. What does the ATS filtering means all around? Second, when you go on and when you work around with your role mismatch. Third, the human attention. This three stages your resume goes into. Now, what does that particular thing means by going around and discussing about ATS filtering? Correct. So now let's go on and try to understand that you wrote down a specific problem stating that I have built X model. For an example, I have built X regression model. Now, the ATS will give you a very good score because you have used the keywords, but you have forgot the patterns around that. Now, what does that particular thing means by pattern? Correct. Will be like Sufi. I have been writing regression, all those particular things, but still I'm not getting any interview calls. The reason behind that is if you would have gone and write it down that I have used regression to solve my sales prediction problem, which gain 20% increase for my sales production results. I think that could be a complete workaround, correct? Instead of you just going and discussing about it that I build a regression model. And that's where, even though you have a good ATS skill scores, your resume gets failed. That's one. Second, for an example, you have been writing it down all the disciplines. Like, I know I am data analyst. I have been doing machine learning. I have been working on machine learning algorithms. I will be working with AI projects as well if I get to learn. I know Python, I know SQL, I know Power BI as well. All those disciplines, if you go on and if you write it down, that is clearly a role mismatch or a position mismatch. That is where clarity comes. What does that particular thing means around that? So try to understand. If you want to go on and get started with BI role, there are three major disciplines which I always categorize my mentoring sessions into. One is business intelligence, one is data science, another one is core deep learning and NLP, and now it's basically AI, and then there will be agentic AI as well. Now, if you are going to go on and help the business to grow, correct, the best discipline to get started with business intelligence, where you're using tools to make sense of business and saying what's happening in the business. Now, Data science is basically using algorithms, using models, making plugging into your data, clearing that particular data, and helping the business to grow. That, say, for an example, I build regression to solve my sales problem so that it will increase by 10 to 20%. This is something, the particular role mismatch happens, and that is something which is really important. This is the second layer. Now the third layer is the human attention, which is really important. So for an example, if you are going and discussing a lot more around your models, what models you build, why you have built, but there is no business context around that, you're missing the trade-offs. Now what does the trade-off mean, Sufi? So for an example, you want to achieve X by giving up Y is basically the trade-off. For an example, I want to decrease my returns. I ended up investing or burning a little bit more money around my operations. That's completely fine. But my trade off is to reduce my return. That is my problem. Correct. Now, many of the analytics and AI interviews goes wrong where you're not able to go on and explain the trade-offs. The reason behind that you're not able to explain the trade-offs because you have not defined the problem properly, and the moment you have not defined the problem properly, you're not able to go on and create assumptions around that. Remember what Aristotle philosophies always used to tell: define a problem, run the hypothesis, define a problem, do multiple hypotheses, do statistical test, and come back with the decisions. Your decisions might not be 100% correct, but there will be. That is one of the major reasons why you should go on and discuss about human attentions, because all those particular things are missing. If any of these three things which I am discussing, and if it is missing, that probably it doesn't give a lot more positive results around that. And that is one of the reasons why resumes fail. And that is what I work with my mentoring sessions. In my mentoring sessions, I try to go on and discuss a lot more about clarity. How do you position, which is basically the mismatch, and what is my judgment around that, and then work with the learner one-on-one for a couple of months so that they can go on and achieve their desired outcome, not for 12 months but even in 3 months time. Correct. That is what I have been building up all along with all of my mentoring sessions. And that is what I have come up with for all of my learnings. I have created mentoring platform for all of you so that you guys can go on, book your mentoring sessions. The moment you go on and you book your mentoring sessions, there will be a mentor which is assigned to you, and then probably you guys can go on and get started and start working towards it. Think of it that someone who has 12 years 15 years of experience working with you just to go on and get started with your desired outcomes and make you a better individual for your desired profile. This is something why me and my team has come up with. Now, to go on, how can you go on and book your mentoring session? It's very easy. Go to pandasacademy.ai and go to the book clarity call. The moment you go there, fill up your details, and there will be someone who's assigned to you. This is very important. If you guys are struggling to get your steps right in a domain of AI and analytics. I have myself been a mentor for a couple of years, 6 years now. I myself as a data coach, and one of the biggest problem I see is people think that doing or completing the skill set is the only requirement which we have, whereas they don't understand that there is something called as interviews and communications as well. They think doing 10 projects is something which is really important for building our portfolios, but they don't understand that even doing 2 projects but making sense and creating an impact is much more important than that. Correct. That is one of the reasons why mentoring is all about. I want, if you guys are struggling, go on, book a mentoring session, and we'll see you in the next live. Probably we might have one of my learners who can come and share their stories with all of you. Correct. So, with that, see you in the next live. Bye bye. Take care.